Hello and welcome back. This is MC1 Gamer. I'm bringing a new video to the channel. I want to have a conversation discussion with everybody out in the community and see if there's ways to try to increase the knowledge base of various powers and abilities in Age of Sigmar, and see if we can, as a group, try to better understand them and better find a way to counter them, because I'm seeing a lot of throughout the entire run of Age of Sigmar, beyond all the people who are detractors and have issues with the game, and probably have other emotional and social issues because of how they act regarding Age of Sigmar. But beyond that, within the community of people who really want to play this game and like it, there's a lot of complaints about things like summoning and shooting and certain abilities on certain characters and certain things that they claim are overpowered. Like, they're scared of special named characters, and they're scared of, there seems to be a set of boogeyman abilities and powers that just make people go crazy. And I see this trend whenever I play a game, whenever I get involved in any forums or any discussions, that there's a lot of people that they don't really, I don't know if it's laziness or they're just used to complaining about things, but there's more of an interest in trying to whine about it as opposed to finding a way to overcome it. Yeah, maybe that ability defeated you in your game, but maybe it wasn't the ability defeated you. Maybe it was you. Maybe you just weren't creative enough, or this was something new that you haven't experienced enough, or maybe you don't have enough knowledge about the many war scrolls that are out there, and that's fine. But let's see if we can create an effort amongst all of us who are players of Age of Sigmar, and some of us who are event organizers that are looking to create, places and methods of play for Age of Sigmar. Let's see if maybe there's a way that we can dispel some of the over-exaggerated, in my opinion, image of some of these abilities. And what I mean by that is that if people really scour the war scrolls and scour various abilities and try to combine them, they're going to find ways, even in just looking at the mechanics of the game, ways to deal with things like summoning. And it won't seem quite as crazy or overpowered as it might seem. Things like shootings. There are people that have complained terribly about, oh, shooting's so powerful. Even in my own event, there are people that are co-organizers of the Gamer Grunts events. They think shooting's too powerful. They want to have they wanted to have no more than 25% of your army, the wounds that you bring to bear, be shooters. So that just completely ridiculously prevents certain armies from even existing. You couldn't even take the new Fireslayer faction. Everybody there has a throwing axe. And I managed to lobby for, increasing that. I'm only one voice in the Gamer Grunts. It's a meeting of the minds to raise that. But that's their viewpoint. But I see that echoed amongst many people that think that shooting's too crazy. And, that these special characters or monsters are too crazy. Oh, too many monsters on the table. Can't have more than two. Oh, too many war machines on the table. Can't have more than two heroes. I mean, it sounds like the ETC or the Swedish or the tournament circuit from 8th edition that tried to really neuter what 8th edition and legacy versions of Warhammer was, and now it's seeping into to Age of Sigmar. And I applaud the people who do really good quality comp systems, and I applaud the effort of them to meet the desires of their customer base, the people who want to play the events at those venues. But I'm appealing to people out there to put on their thinking caps, to put on their general's hats or admiral's bars or whatever it is, and really, whether it's within your group, whether it's on your forums, whether it's on your YouTube channels, whether it's a blog that you have, whether it's just a dialogue within your group that you want to then maybe post here, you're welcome to share this link and put it anywhere that it's allowed. Obviously, don't put it places if there's forums or groups that don't like you doing that, but I don't have any problem with it as a reference to this challenge. And please link to me or send to me or contact me to an ability to to see what that dialogue is, so that I can learn from it myself, and I can share and express it to others, because I'm going to be doing ongoing unlocking videos about Age of Sigmar. I've done tons of them already, and I'm going to do more. But strategy and tactics is something that I think is we're just tipping at the tip of the iceberg for Age of Sigmar. We really are just learning small details about what's the potential of this game, because it's so open-ended. And the effort to try and neuter it and restrict it, I think, is very misguided. I think that it's built, again, out of ignorance and fear. And I think that the idea of this type of a game having such an open-endedness means that there's so much creativity involved, and there's so much more that we will learn if we don't try to put stopgaps in there. So I'm asking you guys to go and find your pet peeve ability, or something that you think is overpowered, or something that you think is broken. Again, a lot of people talk about summoning, a lot of people talk about shooting. Whatever it is, the ability to shoot out of combat if you're in combat, or to shoot into combats that, with a unit that's in those are throwbacks to other versions of Warhammer. But if you don't, I don't want to debate the merits of those things. I don't want to try to change those rules. I want you to find abilities and combinations and tactics that can diminish those things, mitigate them, or overcome them. And let's try to take the fuel out of that fire and diminish the power of the Boogeyman ability. Because I think that people are going to find that if they really dig deep, if they scour the war scrolls, if they really put on their thinking caps, they're going to find that there's a lot of abilities that are not quite as hard to deal with as you might think. How do you deal with a wizard well behind enemy lines, out of that 18-inch unbind range? It's hiding behind a rock. Yeah, there's ways to do it. How do you stop a unit that has accelerators? Well, one of the easiest ways is destroy enough models beneath that threshold, and you've taken away an ability right there. How do you stop summoning? How do you mitigate summoning? How do you prevent summoning from even being a factor? What if there's enough models in a zone where all the combat is, summoning can't even get into that range? What if you have layers of defenses that prevent those guys, that when they are summoned, from even getting in? You have speed bumps that will prevent them from getting to where the action is. Depending on what the nature of the game is, the scenarios, the objectives, if it's not just a lineup and fight, which is boring. All right, let's not just have lineup battle line games, but if there's games with objectives, with depth, with actual goals in mind, these types of tactics really start resonating. They start flourishing, and they matter. And then your crazy Boogeyman abilities don't quite seem so scary, because now you have you're thinking about, how am I going to stop it or slow it down enough to be able to achieve whatever those objectives are, to gain whatever potential victory points there are, or to achieve the aim of the mission, which could just be to outlast an overwhelming force. Who knows what it is? This doesn't have to be a game that's inside of a bubble of the past experiences of what Warhammer events have shown most players. It can be a lot more. So I'm asking the people who think of themselves as, and there are a lot of you who are really, really good at this, better than I am, certainly. And I really think that as a community, as a crowdsourcing type effort, we're going to be able to unlock, and then this can be something obviously that spreads throughout the community, unlock a lot of abilities and capabilities, and dispel a lot of incorrect views on a lot of abilities. Is summoning powerful? Sure it is. It's very powerful. Does it need to be comped? Does it need to be banned entirely? No, it doesn't really. Are you wrong for doing it? No, you're not wrong for doing it. It's your play style. It's your event. It's what your group wants. Fine. But is it necessary to do it at all? No. Is it necessary to do it to the degree that I've seen a lot of people doing that, and for other abilities as well? Absolutely not. But maybe if you have a better idea of how to handle those things, maybe if you're a newcomer to Age of Sigmar and you're not sure about those tactics, and you have a discussion about it that helps you understand, just like we saw on countless forums, countless locations, countless videos from previous editions of Age of Sigmar, ever since YouTube has become a thing, certainly on various blogs, all those thought exercises and think tanks of people that dissect these games and unlock them and number crunch or whatever. There's all kinds of dispelling of abilities, of the craziness and overpowered nature of views of abilities, the prejudice to certain abilities or monsters, or how many of this or too much of that. All those things that have happened, there's always been a change in that stuff. And even though there were efforts by, comp systems like ETC and Swedish and 8th edition, and now we have endless numbers of comps with Age of Sigmar to try and really rein some of this stuff in and restrict it, I don't think there would be as much of a need to the degree that I'm at least seeing if people understood how these things can be handled, how they can be addressed, how they can be overcome. So put it out there, link here. Don't even bother with Warseer, by the way. There's never been a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Those guys just ban you for talking anything positive about Age of Sigmar. So if you're from Warseer, you shouldn't even be a follower of my channel, because don't just leave. And if you're a detractor of Age of Sigmar, you should go as well. But if you are, if you want to share this, if you want to spread the word, if you want to have a dialogue and then bring back your scenarios and your tactics, I will reference them. I'll certainly give you credit for them. I put out videos myself and I have plenty in the works, but I'll certainly mention you if you're prominently trying to contribute to this. But I think this could be a really interesting way of diminishing some of the overzealous prejudice that there is towards certain abilities. And maybe there might not necessarily be a need to comp these things or comp them to the degree or even ban them at all in the way that some events and some groups and some people are talking about, because it's just not necessary. I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box, and I can figure out how to deal with a lot of these things just in the experience that I've had in the last 6 or 7 months since this game has come out. I'm in the triple digits in terms of games, so I have played a lot of Age of Sigmar. And I played, a reasonable spread of armies, and I played a reasonable array of the potential armies out there, notwithstanding mixing and matching with complete unbound and unrestriction. Most of what I do with the group of people that I play is we were restricted within self-imposed comp within the factions, within order or destruction, maybe with occasional scenarios that might mix and match, especially if you have 2-on-2 and they may not necessarily play well together. Well, they will for that game. But I've had plenty of experiences, and I think I can bring plenty to the table, but there's plenty of you out there who are swifter than I am, and I'm sure that have ideas that I haven't even conceived of. I'd like to see those abilities. There's the challenge. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. You pick it up, find out what's the best way, or where are some of the variety of methods of dealing with summoning, dealing with things like having difficulty unbinding, hiding wizards, dealing with shooting, dealing with these mass units that have huge accelerators for attacking or shooting, dealing with whatever power ability that you find to be powerful or overpowered, or whatever your perception is. Dispel that myth. Put it out there. I will help spread it, and I look forward to hearing what you guys put up on whatever medium you do, and I appreciate any input you have, as long as it's constructive. Have a great day, everybody.